Greetings and salutations, humans. Welcome to the channel. This is your host, Putinbot, and I just really want to thank y'all for stopping by today. Today, I've got a little bit of a special treat. As I talked about in my previous video, I've been working on the epics for the current fusion for Sigmund the High Shield. As far as Sigmund himself, I have no interest in getting them. Like I said, I'm just simply going after the epics, and for my account, they're going to do more for me than he is. I've got all of them except for Demitha. I need 5 more fragments for her, and I should get those tonight during the Dungeon Divers event. I think I'm going to do that instead of the training event. Just kind of hop over here real quick, show y'all how it's going. And what's really nice is that it coincides with CBC, but enough about that. The purpose for this video today is about this wonderful young lady right here, Thylessia. I summoned her earlier. I went ahead and leveled her up to level 60. I've got all of her masteries. I've got her built out, and this is going to be a guide about her, about how, in my opinion, is going to be her best case use. And I mean, really, that's really about it. I've done a couple of test runs with her. I am very impressed. And let's just kind of first start off with the model. She looks like she would be someone who would definitely be willing to let you know if she's not pleased with you. She seems to have some kind of like a Egyptian theme going on with her face. She's well covered up top, not so well covered down below. And she's got some interesting tattoos. I'm not sure where all they go, and I'm not really particularly sure. I want to know where exactly it is that they go. The sword that she has is pretty doggone big. It's bigger than she is, which is quite impressive. Said the model is interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but one thing I can tell you about, though, I am very, very pleased with her kit and the testing I've done so far. So let's just kind of go into it now. Show you how I've got her built. I'll explain to you the philosophy about how I'm running her, and how if you have this champion, if you fused her, or if you're watching this video at a later time after the fusion and you pull her from a shard, how, in my opinion, she'll be of best use to you for your account. First and foremost, if you look at the sets I've got her in, I've got her 1 speed set and I've got her in a stun set. And let me kind of go into her skills first. I'll explain to y'all why I've done this. Then I'll go into her masteries, and then we'll do some test runs. First, we'll start with her passive. When attacking enemies under decreased defense debuffs, has a 50% chance of placing a hex debuff on them for 2 turns. Her A3, and this is what she'll open up with, attacks all enemies, places a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. What's really nice about this is that it's the big version of defense down. You don't have to put books into it to get that. It's already there. All these books do, and I did fully book out Thylessia for this guide. In my opinion, you really don't have to book her if you don't want to. I am going to be running her in Doom Tower. I've been running her everywhere, so I did go and book her out. I think she's going to be a staple in almost all my teams, so I did book her out. So what's really cool about this is, as I've said, she gets that decreased defense for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown whenever it's booked. Her A2 attacks all enemies, increases the duration of all debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. So what's really cool about this, that defense down is going to be up 100% of the time, provided you have the accuracy and the affinity isn't a problem. Then her A1 attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance of applying a debuff spread effect, taking run the random debuff from the target, placing all enemies under a hex debuff. And that goes up with books up to 70% chance of spreading that debuff. I am truly very impressed with her kit. I'm going to go into her Masteries real quick. I've taken her down to a War Master, as I do want to get some damage out of her. And then I went down to the support tree, of course going in with accuracy. I went with Exalted Death. We just get a little bit of healing, a little bit of sustain. Swarm Smiter gets some extra accuracy for every enemy that's alive. Arcane Celerity. I get some turn meter whenever a debuff cast by this champion is removed or expires. She's putting a ton of debuffs up, so her turn meter is just really cranking. It's impressive. I went with Cycle of Magic just to get a chance to get the cooldown on the skills. I did go Lore of Steel because I do have her in a speed set just to get a little bit of extra speed out of it. I've got Master Hexer. That way I have a chance of extending the duration of debuffs even beyond what the A2 can do. And then I went with Sniper. That way I will have a 5% chance I'll have an additional 5% chance of landing a stun from a stun set, and also for her passive to proc and land that Hex debuff, and also for that debuff spread to land. As for her gear, I do have her in an accuracy banner. I've got a really nice speed roll on it, very impressed. And I am prioritizing hit points, defense, speed, and accuracy on my Thylessia. I've got her in a defense amulet. And the reason for this is, as you can see, her base stats are relatively low. Her base defense is low, her base health is low. So it can be difficult to keep her alive. And so that's why I'm prioritizing these defensive stats. Just help me keep her up. I've got her in a defense ring. Once again, looking for health and defense where I'm able to find it. I've got her in speed boots with the accuracy sub-roll. I have her in a hit point chest. If you don't have a hit point chest, feel free to go with not accuracy, I apologize. Feel free to go with defense. Just that way she'll be able to take a hit and just won't fall over. I've got her in defense gauntlets. My Thylessia, like I said, is not built for damage. I've got her built to be complete and total support, and she's going to excel at that, and y'all are going to see that here soon. And again, I'm looking for speed. I've got some crit rate on the shield, which I'll take, but the speed and accuracy and the hit points I'm looking for, same thing here. And then lastly with the weapon. Total stats on my Thylessia. Let's hop in here real quick. So just under 34,000 health. Her defense is a hair under 3,000. I would like to get that up closer to 4, but with the gear that I've got, because I want her in a stun set, because as there's 2 AoEs, this is the closest I'm able to get her in. That said, she's able to take a hit. She won't just fall over. Her speed is 222. Crit rate is 50%. So if she crits, that's great. If she doesn't, that's fine too. I don't care. 100% critical damage. So if she does score a crit, doesn't really hit hard. That's why she got War Master. And her accuracy is 359. The reason why I've got it this high is that I do run her now as my primary defense down in Doom Tower. So she's actually replaced my Tay-Rail for that role. Let's collect some energy here real quick from our Clan v Clan rewards. And we will hop into some dungeons. And I will show y'all what she's able to do for us. So we will first hop over into Dragon 20. And let's just go ahead and do this as a free-to-play friendly team with Thylessia. Now, she does not have an aura, so I do not recommend putting her in your lead position. Put someone else in that has that aura. So what we will do, we will go with Apothecary for the defense. We will go with Kale for DPS. Let's go with Skyle, so that way we've got a little bit of extra control and a res just in case someone falls over and croaks. And then let's see, who do you want to do as our number 4? You want to do a lane? Okay, let's do a lane. Sounds good. Y'all talk me into it. All right. First, what we're going to do is that we're going to kind of go in and we're going to see how her damage works. So I'm going to speed everybody up with Apothecary. I am not going to use Skyle's stun. I'm just going to hit somebody. So this is Thylessia's turn. Let's go in and let's do the defense down real quick. And as y'all can see, her stun set, we got 1 stun and we've got 2 hex debuffs out, which is quite nice. I'll take it. And just going to let the lane do her thing. And then we will let Kale go in and throw out some poisons. Now I'll go ahead and throw out a stun with Skyle. Now here's what's going to be interesting. So now, as y'all can see, look at all these debuffs we've got. We've got the leech, and we've of course got the defense down. We've also got a couple of hexes. So let's extend those debuffs by a turn. And let's see how hard this ability hits. About 10,000 give or take. Like I said, she's not built for damage. But look at those debuffs. They've been extended. We've gained a turn on the leeches. We gained a turn on the defense down. We gained a turn on the hexes. Now look at this. Those hex debuffs have spread to all of the enemies on the team. Just go ahead and Kale do his thing. Now we're going to do the A1. Let me slow this down a little bit so it'll be a little bit easier to see. Let's hit this horde in here. Let's see if we get that debuff spread. There it goes. So as y'all can see, we got the spread. So it looks like we got it on the Tyrell, which I will take. Let's just go ahead and speed this thing up, and y'all will be able to see just what we do here on a regular auto run. And I've got to admit, I really do like the animations too. I think that the animations that Thylessia has are pretty solid. I'm really impressed with the way that Polarium did this. Here are the dragon. And then what I'll do is I will do this run again on a full auto run, so y'all will be able to see, and I'll be quiet, and y'all will be able to watch it. I just wanted to just do this a little bit slower this time, so that way y'all be able to see how her kit actually works. So we got the defense down, and we got the hex up. And right there, see, she just extended the duration of the poisons. So we got another turn of the tick on the poisons up. We got the debuff spread, which of course doesn't matter because it's just the dragon here. And I ran her with Ninja a few times when I was going through doing testing. And she does extend the duration of the hit point burn, which is really nice because that sets Ninja up to do even more damage when he detonates those HP burns with his nuke. I don't think we've had a poison expire at all yet. I mean, she just keeps extending it. I am very impressed with what this champion brings to the table. I'm a big fan. So I'm going to replay this. I'm going to be quiet, and y'all be able to see this on a full auto run. If you have Thylessia, congratulations. In my opinion, you probably have the very best defense down champion in the game. And I'm going to show you how she pairs well with Contra or some other kind of a champion that works well with a control comp. It's broken. I can't think of another way to put it other than it is broken. And there we go with a 100% free-to-play team. We've got Apothecary, we've got Kale, who's a starting champion, Skyle, who's a daily login reward, Elaine, who's also a daily login, who's also a starting champion, I'm sorry, and of course Thylessia, the focus of this video. And let's take a look at these. Crit rate, yeah, I'll keep these. So let's take a look here and see where else we're going to play at. Probably Spider is her weakest dungeon because she doesn't have any kind of turn meter control. Is that she can help extend the duration of the debuffs. So let's take her into Fire Knight stage 20. Let me see here. So we've got Cold Heart, we've got Allure, we've got Blind Seer for turn meter control, and Contra for debuffs. This should work just fine. Now, one thing I want y'all to see is just how many provokes Contra is going to get because of all the amount of debuffs this team is going to be able to put out. So there you see it. Here on stage 20 with this particular team, she didn't bring a whole lot of onto the table against the boss himself, but she did do a great job helping out against the waves. Being able to land that defense down, being able to do the debuff spread, being able to extend the duration of the debuffs, all works really well with Contra's passive, because if you're lucky enough to have both those champions, the way the Contra works, if an enemy is under 5 or more debuffs at the start of her turn, they get provoked. I can guarantee you, if you have turn meter and that's you're getting through a lure, or if you're using Mystics and you're running her with her slow, she being Contra is going to be able to just completely lock up the wave. Where her weakness is, at least on this run, is against the boss, because he never got a turn. So those debuffs, like the poisons, never got a chance to tick. Let's take a look at this. And we're getting some good pieces here today. Let's go ahead and keep this. So let's try this. Let's try stage 22. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Contra out. And what we're going to do, we're going to throw Ninja in. So let me explain to you what my thought process is behind this team. Thylessia is going to be the defense down. Actually, let's go ahead and put let's put Allure here on the front because she has that aura. So here's the thought process behind this particular comp. Allure's there for turn meter reduction, of course. Allure's there for turn meter control on her Heartseeker, plus the nuke, plus the 4-hitter on her A1. I've got Thylessia, of course, in there. She is for the defense down. Also, what's going to be nice about this, Ninja is going to place those hit point burns. Thylessia will then extend the duration of that burn. So that way, whenever Ninja comes back around and he detonates those burns, we should be able to get more damage out of those particular nukes. And Blind Seer's in there for support. She's going to help get the shield down, and in case someone does fall over, she's going to pick them back up. So let's take a look and see how this goes. And there we have it. Y'all saw, even though the Fire Knight got a turn, we were able to survive the hit. We were able to come back from it. All the debuffs on the boss were extended, and that included the hit point. That also included the hit point burn. So when Ninja went in and he detonated them, he did more damage than what he normally does. I mean, that was very impressive. And these are garbage. Let's go ahead and sell those. So what we're going to do is that we are going to come over to Ice Golem 25. We've got Blind Seer in the lead. She is going to provide us our sustain, plus she's going to give us reses and shields in case someone falls over. Thylessia, she is going to be there for the defense down, but more importantly, she's going to be there for the debuff spread. We're using Direct Star, for hit point burn and Aothar for poisons. So what Thylessia's job is going to be, not so much going to be the defense down in this particular comp, it's going to be to spread those debuffs. So let's get in and see how it goes. There we have it, folks. I mean, it's not a speed run by any stretch of the imagination, but we were running that team on Ice Golem 25, which is one of the hardest dungeons in the game because of how hard the Ice Golem hits. And we cooked him. We had the poisons, we had the hit point burns, we had we had the defense down, we had all those debuffs. We had them spreading among the waves and the boss with his ads, plus we're increasing the duration of those debuffs. Now, one thing I do want to point out, y'all did see that Thylessia was tanking on this wave. That's not ideal, but that's because her base stats are so low. That's why it's important that you build a team around her that's going to be able to support her, to be able to help keep her up while she does what she does best. She is not going to do her damage off of her abilities. Where her damage comes from, where her utilities come from, is by extending the duration of the debuffs, of the poisons, of the hit point burns on the team. So if you go in and if you look at the damage, she did just under 2 million damage. That's all from debuff spread, folks. That's not from her A1. That's really not from her nuke. She doesn't hit hard. Where she's getting this damage, she is getting it by that debuff spread and then the extension. Look here at Drexstar. He did 2.6 million. Aothar came in the lead at 3.4. That's solid. Those are solid numbers. And no, I do realize I'm running a Void Legendary on this team. If you don't have Blind Seer, that's perfectly fine. Run Skyle, run Reliquary Tender. just run someone that's going to be able to provide passive heals, some kind of sustain. This creative monster will work perfectly well, as fine as well. You just need to have a team that's going to be able to keep Thylessia alive. So now, so we did Fire Knight, we did Dragons. Actually, let's try this. Let's try Dragons 25. I want this to be a comprehensive guide. So we are going to need a different team because these mobs hit hard. So this is not going to work, plus they're all weak affinity. So let's swap this up a little bit. So let's go with Contra in the lead. We're going to use Padma for attack down. Let's go in. We will use Aothar for our poisons. And let's see. So we've got control, we've got defense down, we've got attack down, we've got poisons. And now what we will do, let's go for sustain. Let's just go ahead and go with Blind Seer again. And let's take a look and see how this works on Dragon 25. There we go. I mean, you saw it for yourselves right there on the waves. If you're lucky enough to have Contra the Cyclone, and if you have Thylessia, you run those two together. And if you have someone like Aothar or Taurus or someone else does some kind of poison or a AoE HP burn, you can completely lock the waves down because of Contra's passive while you are barbecuing the waves alive. I'm telling you, she's broken. I know a lot of people are really upset about Uragram. Yeah, it's true. Thylessia cannot solo waves, but she lets you do things that no other epic in this game can let you do. I mean, she can play in the arena, she can be your defense down. If you run her in a stun set like what I am, she's going to help you get some control in. Y'all saw for yourselves, y'all saw the procs from the stun sets. She's probably my favorite epic in the game, which is really interesting because up till today, it was really kind of a toss-up between Alika and Tyrell. And I've got to tell you, Thylessia, in my opinion, just surpasses them all. I mean, her weakness is her low stats. She's hard to keep alive. So you got to build a team around her to support her. Then in turn, she will help your debuffers and your poisoners, your hit point burn champs, whatever, do their jobs more effectively. For those of you who have her, congratulations. I strongly recommend using her. Again, when it comes to her books, if you're lucky, I do recommend booking out the A1. The A2 is whatever. All you're doing is getting damage out of it. She doesn't really hit hard. And that A3, while getting it down to a 3-turn cooldown is not mandatory, it definitely does help. I mean, y'all saw it for yourselves. I realize this is a longer video. It's probably one of the longest ones, if not the longest I've ever done. But I just felt that this champion just deserves the kind of attention that she's getting because of the utility that she has. I mean, I don't know what more to say. If you have her, congratulations. You just broke the game. If you run her with other champions that do debuffs, that do fears, that do poisons, that do hit point burns, that do weaken, I mean, pick your poison. She's going to spread those. Y'all saw it for yourselves. I hope this video helped you be a believer in her. I mean, if y'all think I'm too high on her, if y'all think that I'm putting Thylessia on too high of a pedestal, let me know. I mean, if you think I'm barking up the wrong tree, I mean, I want to hear your feedback. Put down there in the comments down below, Putin, I think you've lost your mind. I think this goth chick has really got inside your head. Or if you agree with me, I would like to hear that too. Let me know how she's impacted your account. I mean, for me, barring running against Spirit Affinity Waves, she is going to be in just about every comp that I've got. Tyrell, you just met your replacement. Zargala, you just met your replacement. I mean, she is a phenomenal champ. She's great. I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, if you give it a thumbs up, those likes really help a lot. If you like the content, subscribe. Click the bell icon. That way, whenever I upload more videos, you'll be notified that they've come in. And I just want to thank y'all again for coming by and spending this time with me. I realize it's a longer video, but again, I think this champion just really deserves it. I am very, very impressed. On this note, this is Putinbot, and I am signing out. Y'all have a good one.